It's 4:30 in the afternoon. Your baby has just woken up, and you pick them up in your arms. They rubbed their still slightly sleepy eyes and looked at you. Everything seemed completely normal. Just at that moment, the doorbell rang, and your neighbor came over. They walked in and approached your baby with a warm smile and affection. "Oh, look how much they've grown, how adorable they've become," they said, reaching out to hug your baby. But your baby suddenly froze. Their lips trembled, and they started that familiar deep cry. Yes, the kind of cry that clearly says, "I definitely do not want you." You immediately said, "They've been a little shy lately. Sometimes they can act a bit strange." The neighbor smiled understandingly. But a question formed in your mind. Why does your baby calm down immediately when they see some people? Why do they react as if an alarm is going off inside them when certain others come close? Actually, the question we need to focus on is this: does your baby simply recognize people, or are they evaluating them? This question becomes especially much more important around the 6th month. Let's think a little. Before the neighbor came over, your uncle had visited. Your baby first looked at him, then smiled and opened her arms. They wanted to go into your uncle's arms. Or remember this: you have a relative, and every time they come to visit you, your baby instantly becomes uneasy. No one can really say anything because what can be said? The man is a perfectly good person, but my baby simply does not like him no matter what. Think of something even stranger. Sometimes a stranger, a cafe worker, any random person passing by, someone your baby has only seen for 3 minutes in their life, smiles at your baby, and your baby smiles back, as if they feel a sense of comfort and trust, like they had known them before. So what do you think in those moments? Do you say, "Are they in a good mood today?" But what if your baby is not acting randomly and instead is doing all of this with a calculation you have never seen, never understood? What if this calculation is almost never wrong? For many years, the minds of babies were seen by scientists as a blank page. It was believed that babies had no knowledge from the moment they were born, and that the concepts of good and bad were learned entirely later. By the 2000s, this idea began to be questioned. Especially experiments conducted in the field of developmental psychology showed us that babies actually begin to understand the social world much earlier than we thought. The most striking study carried out in this field was an experiment conducted by Yale University in 2007. The purpose of this experiment was this: can babies who cannot yet speak or walk distinguish between good and bad behaviors? To find the answer to this question, the researchers used a simple but effective method. They showed a small scene to 6-month-old babies. In this scene, there were simple shapes. A round character was trying to climb a hill. It was struggling to get to the top, but it could not succeed on its own. Then a second character entered the scene, a triangle-shaped figure. This character helped the circle, pushed it upward, and enabled it to reach the top of the hill. This behavior was clearly supportive. When the same scene was shown again, this time a different character entered, a square. But instead of helping, this character pushed the circle downward. In other words, it was preventing it from succeeding. The babies watched these two different behaviors again and again. What's interesting is this: nothing was said to the babies about which one was good and which one was bad. They only watched the behaviors. At the most critical stage of the experiment, the helpful character and the hindering character were placed in front of the babies. To prevent any unintentional guidance, the parents' eyes were covered, so the choice belonged only to the baby. The results were truly surprising. The great majority of the babies chose the helpful character. The same experiment was tested in different countries and in different laboratories, and similar results were obtained. The babies moved toward the character that helped. Moreover, they moved away from the bad one. Now let's come to the part that is talked about less but means a lot. The 6th month is the period when your baby experiences these moments most intensely. In fact, every moment you live with your baby, every hug, every eye contact, those short pauses when you say, "Wait a second," every moment when you are physically there but looking at your phone, none of it just disappears. It is being written somewhere, into your baby's brain. Let me put it this way: your baby will never remember this. When they grow up, they will not look at you and say, "Sometimes you were distracted." But all of those moments will leave traces somewhere inside them. And those traces will shape something very important: how they will approach people. Now, think of it like this. Your baby interacted with you 10 times. In 8 of those times, your baby was truly your focus. You heard their voice, looked at their face, and responded. Your baby recorded this. This person is truly with me. Someone else spent time with your baby 10 times, but each time they were busy, thinking about other things, and the baby was not their focus. Your baby is fully aware of that too. When people walk through the door, your brain opens the file and asks, "Does this person comfort me? Are they trustworthy?" If the answer is yes, they open their arms. If the answer is uncertain, their face falls. If the answer is no, the crying begins. What if they open their arms to people they have never met before? Scientists call this social signal evaluation. Your baby is seeing that stranger for the first time. There's no record in the brain. So how does it happen? At that exact moment, they are making the evaluation instantly. They look. Is the eye contact genuine? Are the movements calm or harsh? Is the voice soft or tense? Does the body language move according to the baby's signals? Does it adapt to their rhythm? Or does the person want to take control without looking at whether the baby is willing? Do you know what's truly incredible? In this instant evaluation, babies are mostly right. This is not a coincidence. It's your baby's inborn instinct. Actually, most of us think of babies' behaviors and reactions as a reflection. If you smile, they smile too. If you are tense, they cry too. Emotions are contagious, and babies perceive this immediately. This is true, but there's something missing. In the studies that have been conducted, babies do not only copy emotions, they also look at the quality of the interaction. One of the best examples of this is the experiment known as the still face experiment. In this experiment, the parent first communicates with the baby in a normal way. Eye contact, facial expressions, tone of voice, everything is normal. Then suddenly, they make their face completely expressionless and still. At that moment, the baby notices that something has changed. To establish a connection with the parent, they make sounds and try to attract attention by making movements. Then discomfort begins and they withdraw or cry. So how can this be possible? Let me explain simply. Your baby starts reading people from the very first days. Of course, not reading in the normal sense. Eye contact, facial expressions, tone of voice, and most importantly, the rhythm of movements. Especially in the studies of Andrew Meltzoff, we can see this at a very early stage. Newborn babies can imitate your movements when you stick out your tongue. This is not just a reflex, it shows that the baby is beginning to understand that there is someone in front of me, and I am beginning to understand the connection between what they do and what I do. But the critical point starts exactly here. For the baby, the issue is not only who is there, but what kind of person is in front of me, and the answer to that is predictability. If your baby cries at someone again, or freezes, or on the contrary, opens their arms to someone they do not know that they are trying to tell you something. Maybe that neighbor really is a good person, but has an unpredictable, tense state of mind. Maybe that stranger is calm, genuinely well-intentioned, and your baby could sense these things. And what about you? Your baby's eyes are always looking for you because the biggest records in their file belong to you. The most interaction is with you. The most contact and observation is with you. You are their safe space.
From now on, when your baby moves away from someone, instead of thinking, "Why are they acting like this?" ask yourself this question: what is my baby trying to tell me? In every look, your baby is telling you something, and now you know what they are saying. In the next video, we will talk about how this trust is tested for the first time in the 7th month. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss it.